Heyo, welcome back to the deep dive. If you're finding these explorations helpful in your learning journey, maybe give us a quick like and follow. Really helps us keep things going.
It absolutely does.
So today we're diving deep again. We're looking at a set of English words, really key ones for your postgraduate entrance exams, specifically the vocabulary from Day 32, Part 2 of the study materials.
Yeah, this is a fantastic set to focus on. These are words you'll definitely run into quite a bit in academic texts.
For sure.
And really getting a good grasp of their different meanings, the nuances that'll give you a real edge, helps with understanding, helps with memory.
Exactly. And our goal isn't just, memorizing definitions. That's not really the point.
No, not at all.
We're going to see these words in action. We'll pull from real-world examples, maybe even some actual exam questions. We'll be looking at words around social stuff, words ending in fernery, the effect of that in prefix, words from scrib, and then vocabulary tied to mean, feeling confident, and, of course, everything about university students.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, we want this to feel like a natural way to build up your understanding. Okay, shall we jump in? Let's start with those social-related terms.
Excellent. Let's kick off with community. Now, you probably have a general sense of this one already. A group of people living together, maybe sharing interests, like the library is open to all members of the community. Pretty straightforward.
Right. That gives us that basic idea, shared group. But it could be more than just geography, can't it? Like, look at this actual exam question. Indeed, there is something a little absurd in the state getting involved in the planning of such a fundamentally grassroots concept as community sports associations.
Ah, that's a great example. What's really interesting there is how community is used for sports associations. It sort of highlights that these groups are local, they spring up from the people.
Right, the grassroots thing.
Exactly. That's the heart of grassroots. And the question is subtly prompting you to think, well, is it always right for big organizations like the state to step into these local things? So understanding community there means recognizing that idea of, let's say, local ownership, organic growth.
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Next up, we have neighborhood, or neighborhood, depending on your spelling preference. It's basically the area around a specific place. Simple example, we grew up in the same neighborhood. Easy to picture.
It is. But let's take another look. Our health depends on creating neighborhoods that are conducive to walking. Now, what does that tell you?
Well, it links the place, the neighborhood, directly to health, to well-being.
Precisely. It suggests that how our local areas are physically planned are their sidewalks, parks. It actually has a big impact on our health, maybe even how we interact.
That really broadens the idea beyond just houses on a street. Okay, then there's social itself.
Yeah.
The adjective, it relates to society, how it's organized, or, activities where people get together. Like she has a busy social life. That's about meeting people, interacting. But then you have, he fought for social justice and civil rights, which is much bigger, societal issues.
Exactly, two different facets. And of course, you'll often see the related term sociology, academic study of all this. So social is really fundamental.
Yeah.
And by the way, recognizing derivatives, words coming from a base word is super helpful, like sociology from social. Often a slight shift in meaning or how you use it grammatically.
That's a really good point about derivatives. Okay, so moving to sociable. How's that different?
Well, sociable describes a person, someone who enjoys being with other people, who's friendly. Like, the girl is sociable and have many friends.
Okay, so it's a personality trait.
Yes, but it can also be about mood, like in your other example. I'm not feeling very sociable this evening. Maybe you just want a quiet night in.
Got it. So social is more about society structure or interactions generally, while sociable is about an individual's enjoyment of company.
You've got it. It's a subtle difference, but important.
Okay, next, associate. This one's versatile noun, adjective, verb.
It is.
The verb example is great. I always associate the smell of baking with my childhood. I think everyone has those sensory links. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Smells, sounds, that trigger memories. What about the adjective use?
The example given is associate producer.
Right. Think about film credits. An associate producer isn't the main producer, but they're connected. They have a specific role, maybe supporting the main one. It implies that relationship.
Okay.
And then there's the noun association, like a club or a professional group. Again, it's about people or things being linked or joined together.
Right, makes sense. Let's switch gears a bit now. Let's look at words ending in steri. First one, territory.
Okay, territory.
Can mean land under control. like a country's territory, or just a general area or field. Examples. The explorers set off to conquer new territories.
Literally new lands exploration.
Yeah. And then the soldiers strayed into hostile territory. That adds a layer of danger, boundaries.
Definitely. Territory often makes you think about ownership, control, borders, whether it's land or, say, someone's area of expertise. And that Mellery ending often signals a place, like library, or sometimes a collection.
Ah, interesting point about Surrey. Okay, next is gallery. Usually we think art gallery, right? Or maybe a balcony. The examples are about art. Turning down a job at an art gallery. Planning new gallery space.
Yes, in the art context, gallery is clearly a place for showing things. Fits that Ellery as place idea perfectly.
Then grocery.
Yeah.
A shop selling food or the food itself. Examples like putting down a bag of groceries, buying meat at the neighborhood grocery. Very everyday stuff.
Absolutely. Very relatable. Connects to our daily lives, local shops. Part of the community fabric, really.
Moving on, nursery. Could be a baby's room, a childcare place, or even where plants are grown. The example is childcare. The children are at nursery 3 days a week.
Yeah, the childcare nursery is a key service for families, helps kids socialize early on. The plant nursery is different, but still has that idea of, early growth and care.
True. Okay, last one in this cannery group. Scenery, natural beauty or stage backdrops. The scenery is magnificent, describing nature.
Yeah, beautiful views.
And we stopped on the mountain pass to admire the scenery, appreciating it.
Right. Scenery is all about the visual impact, what you see. Whether it's a grand landscape or something created for a play, it hits our sense of aesthetics.
Got it. Okay, let's explore words, starting with in. First is individual, noun for a single person, or adjective for separate, unique. There's an interesting exam question here.
Oh, yeah.
The data of an individual there gains its value only when it is compared with the data of countless millions more. What's the takeaway about individual there?
That's a fascinating point it makes. It's saying that information about just one person, well, on its own, it might not mean much.
Right.
It's only when you put it together with data from loads of other individuals that you start seeing patterns, getting real insights. Think statistics, social research.
Yeah, the power of the big picture.
Exactly. And related words here are individualism, the focus on the importance of the single person, and individualist, someone who believes in that.
Okay. Next up, intrude. To enter somewhere without permission, basically unwelcome, the exam question example. Arizona had thus intruded on the federal's privileged powers. What's intruded telling us here?
In that context, intruded strongly suggests crossing a line, stepping into an area, in this case, legal or governmental power where it shouldn't be. It feels improper, an overreach.
Like unwelcome interference.
Precisely, and the
Yeah.
person doing it is an intruder.
Okay. Then we have invade. That sounds stronger.
It is stronger. Invade usually means entering by force, often wanting to take control, or sometimes just entering in huge numbers and causing disruption. The example, demonstrators invaded the government buildings.
That definitely sounds forceful.
Yes, invade carries more weight, more aggression, often a larger scale than just intrude. The noun form is invasion.
Right. Okay, let's shift to the script root related to writing.
That's the core idea, yes. Writing or marking.
First is subscribe. Paying for something regularly, like a magazine, or agreeing with an idea. The example is about library journals. Which journals does the library subscribe to?
Yeah.
Access to written stuff.
Exactly. In universities, libraries subscribe, so everyone gets access to the latest research. But you also, subscribe to YouTube channels or newsletters online. Same idea of signing up for regular content.
Makes sense. Next, inscribe. To write or carve words onto something often meant to last. Like the example, inscribe this literary work onto a stone tablet and record it. Sounds very permanent.
It does. Inscribe implies durability, making a lasting record. Think monuments, trophies, the writing is meant to be preserved.
If they're an ascribe. To say something is caused by or belongs to someone or something. Example, they ascribe this achievement to that man, giving him the credit.
Right. Ascribe is about attribution, saying this is the reason, or this person did it. It's about assigning cause or origin, whether it's actually true or just believed to be true.
Okay. Next is script. Handwriting, a play's text, speech notes. The example is he was reading from a prepared script. So written words meant to be spoken or followed.
Yep. A script is the plan, the written guide for a performance, a film, a speech, keeps things on track.
Then prescribe. A doctor telling you what medicine to take or an official rule stating what must be done. We have both in the examples.
Ah, yes.
The syllabus prescribes precisely which books should be studied. That's the rule.
The official instruction, yeah.
And he may be able to prescribe you something for that cough. Medical advice.
Right. Prescribe implies some kind of academic authority, medical authority, telling you what should be done or used.
Okay. And the last one for this route. Manuscript, a handwritten book or document. Reading poems in manuscript, having only one copy. It emphasizes the original, maybe fragile form.
Absolutely. Before printing presses, everything was a manuscript. It refers to that original hand-created version of a text. Often has unique value because of that.
Got it. Okay, new section. Words related to mean. First, the noun means. A way of doing something, or resources. Examples. The state is in control of the means of production. Thinking about systems, resources.
Like factories, tools, etc.
Yeah, fishing is their only means of livelihood, the way they make a living.
Right. Means, usually plural like that, focuses on the method, the resources, the how of achieving something.
Then mean itself. Adjective, average or unkind. Verb, to signify, to intend. The example focuses on the verb. The flashing light means that you must stop.
Clear signal, clear meaning.
And it mentions the mean value for average. What about the unkind adjective?
The materials mention it, yeah. Mean can describe someone stingy, not generous, unkind. It's important to know both the average meaning and this unkind meaning. Context tells you which one.
Definitely need context for that one. And speaking of not being mean, we have the opposite. Generous, willing to give, plentiful. The gallery benefactor example is perfect.
It is. Someone giving freely, abundantly.
Wow.
Generous. And the quality itself is generosity.
Right. Okay, nearly there. Words around confident. First, confident itself. Feeling sure of yourself, your abilities. The teacher encouraging questions is a good example of building that.
It is. Feeling confident is so important for learning, for trying new things. The noun is confidence, that feeling of self-belief. And also related but different is confidential, meaning secret, private, like confidential information. That links more to trust and privacy, not self-assurance.
Good distinction. Okay, last big group. Words related to university students. Lots here. Let's start with graduate. Noun for someone who finished, verb for the act of finishing.
Right.
Examples cover both. Teaching undergraduate and graduate levels, and teaching after graduating.
Yep. Graduate marks that completion point, and the ceremony is graduation.
Then gradual.
Yeah.
Adjective meaning slow, step by step. These changes were gradual, happening over time.
Exactly. Not sudden. Slow progression. The adverb is gradually, like women gradually becoming more involved.
Okay. Undergraduate. A student working on their first degree. Teaching physics at the undergraduate level that clarifies the stage.
Yep. The time before you get that first main degree, your bachelor's.
Speaking of which, bachelor. Unmarried man, or the degree itself, the confirmed bachelor example, plus Bachelor of Arts, science, engineering.
Right. Two distinct meanings. Context is key again.
Then postgraduate. Someone who already has a degree and is studying for a higher one, like a master's or PhD.
Advanced study.
The examples mention postgraduate admissions and an exam question about new postgraduate staff influencing academic norms.
Yeah, that exam question is interesting. It suggests postgrads aren't just students. They can actually shape the academic environment.
Good point. Okay, now the year names. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Mainly U.S. system, right? For high school or uni.
Generally, yes. A 4-year structure. Freshman is year 1.
Yeah.
Freshman textbook, freshman advisor.
Makes sense. Helps place students in their journey. Sophomore is year 2. The example mentions someone's daughter at Yale being a sophomore.
Right. Building on that first year.
Junior can mean younger or lower rank as an adjective, junior sales manager, or the third-year student as a noun.
Yep. Implies less experience or being in that third year.
And finally, senior, noun. Older person, higher rank, or final year student. Adjective, higher ranking, older. Examples. Senior management, a brother being 2-year senior.
Right. Senior usually signals more experience, higher status, or that final year before graduating.
Whew. Okay, so there we have it. That was quite a tour through some really important vocabulary.
Very good set.
We hit social terms, those merely words, they in prefix, script, mean, confident, and all those university terms.
And hopefully by looking at them in context, using the examples, that true exam question, It's more than just memorizing. You start to get a feel for how they actually work in English.
Exactly. That deeper understanding is what really counts for your studies and just, for using English effectively.
Absolutely invaluable.
So we really hope you'll go back, maybe look at day 32, part 2 again with all this fresh in your mind. See how the words fit. Are you noticing connections you didn't before?
Yeah, and maybe try to actively use some of these words yourself when you're speaking, writing. That's how they really stick and become part of your vocabulary.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. If you found it useful, please do hit like, follow us for more vocabulary explorations.
And maybe share it with others who might benefit.
Yes, please do. Share it with anyone prepping for exams or just keen on boosting their English. Until next time, keep learning.